that reminds me of more things I want to talk about. I have talked about this before, but I have several lists of things that I'm trying to keep up with. I have audiobooks that I'm listening to. I have history lectures that I'm listening to. Anemia, huh? Let's devolve that. We don't need that just yet. I have TV shows that I'm trying to watch, movies that I'm trying to watch, comic books I'm trying to read, all that kind of stuff. And I've made significant progress on that. For instance, I mentioned once that... No! I have legislation for the livestock. I've mentioned that I was going to watch The Simpsons at one point. I've now fully watched every episode of The Simpsons. Every last one. It is still better than a lot of people say, but it's definitely not as good as it was. People act like the show basically fell off a cliff after like season 9 to 12, somewhere around there. That's when people say that's when it stopped being good. But it's still good, it's just not what it used to be. And so I can see why people are upset about it, but don't discount it. It's still a good show. I've now watched that in full. I'm trying to catch up on Doctor Who as well. I made it through all of the old stuff, and I'm now on Doctor number 12, so went through 1 through 11. And they're all new for me at this point, which is nice. I kind of took a break after the 50th anniversary special to try to get caught up on the rest of the show. And I did, and now I'm trying to catch up from where I stopped. All right, Southeast Asia. That's Vietnam, but I guess they're counting like all of this. Thailand and Myanmar, Burma, as it used to be called, and Laos and Cambodia. They're all just Southeast Asia, according to this game. But I'm trying to watch a lot of stuff in order. I'm watching movies and TV shows in chronological order as well. And I made it up to 1979 when it comes to that, which is a very cool year. They have Alien, Apocalypse Now. That all happens in 99, so I'm happy to get there. Okay, what do we got here? Just infect one more country. I think I'm going to say no to that for now and go for cold and heat resistance. Basically it's just one evolution point infect one more country, but that's not necessary for me right now. That's not necessary. I'm trying, it spreads slowly, but that's why we worked on transmission first. So when it comes to TV shows and movies, I'm in 1979. Which is significant progress. I believe I started the year in the 40s or 50s, so... Wait, what? They postponed the Rio Olympics? That's kind of weird. But that's what they said that happened there. That didn't happen in real life, but that happened there. Ireland is now mine. The weird thing about watching things in order is how much I think that anything that was controversial back in the day, I just don't see as a big deal anymore. So Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne and Alice Cooper, I just don't see why that was considered that big of a deal. I have a hard time seeing the controversy behind it. I understand why, but I don't necessarily understand why it was considered something that needed to be stopped instead of just something to avoid. It's one thing to say, I don't want to watch that. It's another thing to say, nobody could watch that. And there was definitely a difference there. But yeah, that's kind of where I am with movies and TV shows. When it comes to comic books, I'm starting to lag a little bit behind because it's a lot harder for me to actually sit down and read comic books. For the record, I'm also reading manga at the same time. So I am looking at 1993 right now when it comes to that. That slowed down pretty significantly. For those of you that are wondering when that is for manga, at least, that's the end of the Cell Saga in Dragon Ball Z. That's a good place to just kind of leave it there. In comic books, nothing all that great has happened for a while. Nothing all that great is happening in comic books in the early 90s. There were a few things that stood out to me, like there were a couple Batman series and stuff like that, but I don't know, just nothing really stood out as really good. Just kind of seemed like a continuation of what was already happening. Watchmen was good, but like nothing's been good, nearly as good since then, if that makes sense. Let's transmit again. Let's go with birds. We need the birds to go. Goldman Stanley Bank Crisis. That's oh, why am I? It's Goldman Sachs. There we go. That's the pun there. But that's where I am in comic books. When it comes to like my history lectures and audiobooks, I'm actually in the year 1800 now, which is pretty far along, I think. But that's when books really start becoming big deals. That's when novels start really showing up. You can make arguments about what constitutes a novel. I believe that The Tale of Genji is often cited as the first novel, and that's in the 1600s. But when it comes to a very popular kind of literature style, novels really picked up in the 1800s. That's when, Jane Austen started. That's when all that kind of stuff really started coming forward. Victor Hugo is early 1800s, stuff like that. So I might have to start slowing down in how quickly. UK votes for Brexit! Still! Well, Europe might be alright with that considering the infection rate right now, but I don't think they're fully aware of that. Let's go with insects. Give me more mutation as well. Alright, we got anemia. Yeah, nothing too bad yet. Why can't I get rats yet? Oh well. So I'm making significant progress there. I do have some favorite things, some things that I don't understand why it's that big of a deal, and I'm hoping to find out more information about that, but I've always kind of had those. For instance, my least favorite book that I've ever read is Ulysses by James Joyce. I really just don't like it. I hate it. And I need to listen to lectures on why people really do like it. There's got to be a reason for it, but for me right now, it's just a madman scribbling on paper. That's what it comes across like to me. And I understand the concept of stream of consciousness and all that kind of stuff. It didn't work for me. And his syntax was terrible. I'll put it that way. He had one chapter. People think that I misspeak when I say this. I'm not going to misspeak here. I had one chapter in my book. My book was a fairly large size. This one chapter was 70 pages, which already is way too long. But this one 70-page chapter only had 4 paragraphs in it. And this one 70-page chapter had 1 sentence. Now, some of you are trying to do the math right now on how it's possible to write 1 sentence that's spread across 4 paragraphs, and I can tell you that he just wrote one incredibly long run-on sentence, and every once in a while hit enter and tab. And then he continued the sentence. There's no capitals, there's no periods, there's nothing. It's just one incredibly long run-on sentence, like he was doing automatic writing or something like that. And I personally did not like that. I absolutely hated it. But I've heard before, wow, look at all of that. Yeah, the fungus ones take a little bit longer. Let's try to get more. No, I already have the water done. Let's do Let's do more livestock. I need to hit more rural places, I think. Especially Africa and South America. But yeah, it kind of spread slow. Hey, I got Canada. I thought I'd already gotten them. Still don't have Madagascar and Greenland. There are always the thorns in your side in this game. Or at least in these kinds of games. I think I played this on my phone back in the day when it was a previous version. Alright. Put in rats. What do we got here? I need to make it as infecting as I can before I start trying to kill people. Just makes sense. Alright, now we got pneumonia. That could be a problem. We got some stuff that makes this a problem for people. It's not killing anybody yet, but pneumonia can kill people. Lots of people have died from pneumonia over the years, over the centuries. Yeah, Ulysses is the one that stood out to me as something that I just don't understand. The other one being On the Road, which is kind of a similar idea where it's like not a traditional novel and instead kind of has its own rhythm and everything like that. All right, let's try to make it as infecting as possible, like I said. I might have to put some resistance on it. Looks like cold resistance is needed. I canceled the World Cup and the Olympics haven't happened. All right, I need to get rid of internal hemorrhaging. That's got to go away. We can't have that. All right, we'll put points there. We need 26 for more heat resistance. All right, Mexico has shut down their airports, but they're already infected. I just need something to go to Greenland. And Madagascar still. Maybe I need more rats for that? Diablo Immortal Awareness Day. That was just BlizzCon Day, wasn't it? Let's do that. That usually helps with some of Africa here. Okay, Russia is working on the effort. It's already up to 18%. I don't remember that even popping up. All right, I got Madagascar. I still don't think I have Greenland or Iceland, and I'm not sure why. I should have them by now. I've had like England forever. 25% done, huh? Okay. The first death has been confirmed in Angola. I do need to start killing people now, though. Let's try this. Spore Burst. Alright, there's Greenland. Spore Burst. There's Iceland. Have introduced synthetic genes. This breakthrough will help cure efforts. No! No. Stop that. Alright, so I've now gotten it everywhere thanks to a couple spore bursts. The question is now, can I kill everybody before the thing actually starts getting cured? Alright, internal hemorrhaging again. Now it's time for that. I'm trying to fight the cure. But it's going really quickly. Alright, I've killed a lot of people now. Alright, I should have it pretty much infected everybody now. Spanish flu is gone. Yeah, I ended up talking about the game way more than I thought. Hemorrhagic shock, that should kill a lot of people very quickly. No healthy people left. Everybody's infected. What else can I get here that kills people? There's really nothing left to try to kill people that I can afford right now.